Rodham Clinton wants your guns. So protect your guns with the Safe in Vault store. Click the link below for all those special promo codes. Buy a safe. Again, protect your guns. Now selling Browning safes, and also a special offer for a free pistol safe in the description box below and also in the comment section. That's the safeinvaultstore.com. Click the link below right now. Protect your guns from Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green, and you're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It is Wednesday, October 14th, 2015, one day after the Democratic debates in Las Vegas. And this is what it felt like watching it.
Okay. I have spikes in my lips.
Respect, LA Beast. Respect. So the first thing I noticed about the debate was that Hillary Clinton won. First impression was the national anthem. It was absolutely horrendous. In fact, I asked myself the question, who was singing that? Where did they find this person? Because she was horrible. And then they're like, thank you, Sheryl Crow. Thank you. I'm like, wow, Sheryl Crow really does suck.
Through the perilous fight.
Also, did you notice that there was only just a select few candidates? There was a total of 5. Comparatively, you look at the GOP debate, and there was like 1,000 on stage. There was like 1,000 GOPers with Trump at the center and his hairpiece flowing in the non-existent wind. And then compared to the Democratic debate, there was only 5. You're telling me there's only 5 candidates willing to run for president of the United States in the DNC? Really? Only 5? Honestly, it was a shit show, as I said in yesterday's video. But Hillary Clinton won the debate because everybody there, including Bernie Sanders, and this will probably piss some people off, have actually endorsed her. Yeah, that's right. Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary Rodham Criminal Clinton, Benghazi Gate whore witch Clinton, in yesterday's debate. At one point, he was actually given an opportunity on a silver platter to pounce. Remember, this is a debate. You're supposed to pounce. You're supposed to criticize. You're supposed to attack. And he made a very profound statement. He said America is tired of the damn emails. Take a look.
Let me say something that may not be great politics, but I think the secretary is right. And that is that the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
You know?
Tired of the damn emails, Bernie? Tired of the damn emails. You know, that was your perfect opportunity to lay into that bitch, to lay into the criminal that makes up Hillary Clinton. You know, the former Secretary of State responsible for the deaths of CIA liaison Christopher Stevens, several other Americans, lying about gun trafficking guns through Libya, what made up Benghazi Gate into Syria, which is now where we're at war. Whereas now where Barack Obama is not just drone striking, but air striking and arming the moderate terrorists on the ground, which they've now coined a new term. It's like Syrian opposition freedom or something like that. They always come up with these, fancy taglines. And just like Al-Qaeda sprung into ISIS, they just trick you through semantics and words. So it was the perfect opportunity to attack Hillary Clinton because, again, what do we have in American politics today if you don't have character? If Hillary Clinton is a lying POS, a scumbag, a criminal, somebody who blew up her email servers as she was Secretary of the State, it wasn't just wrong, it was illegal and also criminal. It's why the FBI is investigating. Why didn't Bernie Sanders lay into her? It's a good question, isn't it? Well, he didn't lay into her. He even upped the ante. He friggin' endorsed her. Absolutely incredible. I found it actually just par for the course, because it shows you what a choreographed, staged event this was. You notice Anderson Pooper there with this purple tie? Nothing against purple ties, but Anderson Pooper, as I like to call him, has CIA ties, worked for the CIA, has no real journalism experience before taking the job at CNN. He's also a Vanderbilt. He sucked too, man. He was really nervous. You notice I'm reading through his cards? He's like, Hillary Clinton.
Underestimate the Russians as president, what would your response to Vladimir Putin be right now in Syria?
He was really nervous. He did a horrible job. Again, nothing even against Anderson Pooper, but he sucked it up last night. You could tell that he was very uncomfortable asking critical questions that were already prepared for him by CNN to people like Hillary Clinton. Because again, he's not a real journalist. He doesn't ask critical questions. He's really just a lapdog. That's what CNN is. They are a lapdog. So the two standouts were Hillary Clinton, who obviously won, and I'm not happy about that, but she did. Bernie Sanders endorsed her, which I found absolutely incredible. And everybody else is just a stooge. You know, O'Malley looks presidential. He does, but he's an absolute stooge. He has nothing intelligent to say. I mean, I was thinking to myself, is this really the best that we have in America? We've got 5 stooges up there. We've got Hillary Clinton, who's literally been in Washington, D.C. forever. I mean, she's about to croak on stage last night. She's almost pushing her 70s, for crying out loud. She's a very, very unhealthy woman. She's got all kinds of health problems, and this is the best we've got. It was completely rehearsed, completely staged, and completely choreographed. Because again, there is no system in America. That's the takeaway. The GOP and the DNC are no different. Now, the GOP candidate's a lot stronger. In my opinion, Trump, an outsider to the GOP establishment, a lot stronger, a lot more exciting to watch. But it's all a part of the same narrative. It's all a part of the same bullshit, this new one world order paradigm that makes up the two-party system as they pitch it to us, but is really just one party. You don't have a choice. You know, I just think, in my personal humble opinion, that Trump would be the best of all the worst options, because at least he would slow down the tyranny here in the United States for the time being, before a revolution. Revolution, 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 revolution. Again, is this the best we got in America? 5 freaking stooges that made up the DNC. Bernie Sanders would not lay into the email scandal. You notice how they talked about it's completely diametrically opposed from the GOP debate talking points and the DNC talking points. They talked about immigration, building Trump's wall, keep preventing all the immigrants from coming into America, which I agree with. And then the DNC debate, the only thing they talked about was Ferguson, race, Black Lives Matter. Also, that stood out Bernie Sanders. He said Black Lives Matter. He just ignored the rest of the population. Not all lives. They asked him, do Black lives or do all lives matter? Well, obviously all lives matter. If you just say Black Lives Matter, you're playing into the mainstream media bullshit narrative to divide and conquer us, to create this divisiveness.
My question for the candidates is, do Black Lives Matter or do all lives matter?
There was also a key moment where O'Malley, a freaking stooge, although he looks presidential, tried to pull at America's heartstrings, but it was played off horribly. You could tell he had rehearsed it like 10 times. He was like, well, there's a couple people in the stands tonight that lost a child because of gun crime. You know, one of these false flag gun rampages of these psychopaths that go and kill people, allegedly in schools, and then they rerun the footage, no matter if it was the Aurora shooting or any of these other shootings, Sandy Hook, etc.
We passed comprehensive gun safety legislation, not by looking at the pollings or looking at what the polls said. We actually did it. And Anderson, here tonight in our audience are 2 people that make this issue very, very real. Sandy and Lonnie Phillips are here from Colorado. And their daughter, Jessie, was one of those who lost their lives in that awful mass shooting in Aurora. Now, to try to transform their grief, they went to court, where sometimes progress does happen when you file in court. But in this case, you want to talk about a rigged game, Senator? The game was rigged.
So they definitely played up the race card, CNN did, the race issue, create all of this divisiveness. And it just goes to show you how bad off America really is. I mean, these people are not even talented. They're not even good speakers. I'm sorry, Bernie Sanders sucks. He's not a good speaker. Hillary Clinton, a friggin' drone, a witch, a callous whore, a criminal who plays up her feminism, which is amazing to me. I mean, if the debaters and her opponents, even though they're not opponents because they're giving her the DNC, they're actually endorsing her, people like Bernie Sanders, they would ask her critical questions about her husband, the fact that he's a womanizer, that he's a predator, that he's allegedly raped multiple women, that he had sexual affairs with people like Monica Lewinsky and then lied to the American public on the stand, a felony.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Which should put him and pound him in the ass federal prison. But nobody talked about any of that. No, because it's all choreographed. It's all staged. And it just shows you, again, what a shit show this whole thing is. You know, the ratings were far higher in the GOP debate. In fact, they were talking about last night how Trump was live tweeting it. That was actually more major news than the actual DNC itself. Just horrible, disgusting. It only shows that the United States has lost its status as the world dominant superpower. Again, we're talking about any of the real issues. We're not unearthing any of the real truths. The fact that people like Hillary Clinton, who have been serving for decades in Washington, D.C., are responsible for running guns illegally into Syria, which makes up the Syrian conflict today. This new Cold War with Vladimir Putin, these two opposing airstrikes. At least O'Malley mentioned it. I believe it was him, said that there's an increased chance of an accident in the skies. I've talked about that for months and months now. An increased accident that something will happen, maybe legitimate, maybe a false flag that would have Russia and the United States basically at odds as they're fighting this proxy war in this very dangerous part of the world. As ISIS drives Toyotas, most of them from America, in the Levant. As the United States actively destabilizes this part of the world, as Hillary Clinton shields herself behind the Barack Obama administration. They also asked a key question about what they thought America's greatest security threat was. The first thing came to my mind was Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton, their regime, the continuation of these radical, insane policies to basically overthrow the United States of America. And this is what Hillary Clinton, folks, represents. Yeah, her tough decisions, an extension, a third term of Barack Hussein Obama. I'm telling you, folks, he's going to pass some kind of executive action, which really isn't passing anything because it'll bypass Congress, just like he did in Syria. They're going to do something on gun control. Barack Obama is going to do something on gun control. They talked about that last night as well. Played into it, tried to pull the heartstrings. O'Malley did. Bernie Sanders actually stood up to it in his Vermont roots, which I appreciated. But honestly, I think Bernie Sanders disgraced himself. That's probably a not very popular opinion. I know a lot of you like him. I've liked some things he said about Wall Street and going after the top 0.001% criminals, of which, by the way, he really downplayed last night. None of these politicians are talking about jailing these assholes on Wall Street and in Washington, D.C. How about real reform? How about trying these scumbags, these bankster elites? And if a jury finds them guilty for their crimes, sending them to pound me in the ass prison. How about that? How about prosecuting Hillary Clinton for burning her email servers, being directly responsible for the deaths of people like Christopher Stevens and several other Americans, lying to the American public through people like Susan Rice in the State Department that it had something to do with the YouTube video Innocence of Muslims, which was completely untrue, which was a lie. Telling us initially it had nothing to do with September 11th, even though it occurred on the September 11th anniversary. Running guns, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of thousands, some estimates say millions of people in the Middle East, as a result of people like Hillary Clinton voting to enter Iraq, voting to invade Iraq. These types of places in this part of the world. This is what we have come to expect of America today. It really truly is our fall from grace. This is the collapse of modern day Rome. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, hell, put me on the stage. I would have destroyed these assholes last night. I would have ripped into them. You could have put me on the debate stage. You could have put me in Anderson Pooper's position. I would have killed it. That's the truth. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard hitting it in your face. And click the link below to support our sponsor.